welcome back. My name is Prachi.
And I'm Harsh.
And welcome to our podcast, Living Out Loud. This is episode 2, and today we are thinking to just take it back to the beginning.
We're going to talk all about our relationship from day one, how we have grown over the years, and everything we've learned in the process.
Okay, so Harsh, let me start by asking you a question. What was your first impression of me?
All right. I remember seeing you in the college hallway. I saw you with your short hair. You have very long hair now.
I
but
know, I had a pixie cut then.
Yeah. And you had a pixie cut, you wore a choker, and you were in your jeans and your black top. And I just remember looking at you, and my first impression was like,
Still in my jeans.
yeah,
and
this
a
girl
black
is
top.
cool. Like, that was my first thought. Like, you're
Really?
very cool. Yes.
That was your first impression.
That was my first impression. Like, this is a cool person out there.
Yeah, then
And
why did it take you like over a year to actually make contact with me and speak to me?
that I would like to say is something I wish I would have done earlier. So in this relationship, Prachi is the one who made the call. That's a story we'll come to eventually. But yeah, I think it's because I was shy. And also because it was my final year and you were in first year. And I just didn't know. I didn't even know whether you're available or not. Like I thought you were dating someone else, which afterwards I found out we're just good friends.
Okay, interesting. So Harsh and I met when we were in college back in 2016. And my first impression of you, not that you asked me, but I'm still going to give my opinion. My first impression of you was that this is a guy who's popular. That was my first impression. Because I saw him come to my class to like announce for the college fest and recruit people to help with the college fest and come announce the freshers party and all of that. And he was in the football team and yeah, not that our college was too big or something.
Small college.
It's a very small college. But I still felt like you were like the popular guy in that college. But also I thought you were cute. But that was the extent of it. And then I thought about that for a year. And I kept waiting for him to come and talk to me, but that didn't happen. So technically, we started liking each other in 2015, but we didn't start dating each other until 2016.
Yeah, like it was just 1 year of build up where we just crossed paths.
Yeah.
I had a major crush on Prachi.
I had a major crush on you.
And I never had the guts to go out and tell it to her.
Yeah, me either. It wasn't until like the last day of college or his last day of college life and my last day of first year. And I just kept hoping that, okay, it took him a year. Maybe today is the day that he's actually going to come and talk to me because we're never going to see each other in the hallways again. But he still didn't. And then one of my friends, he was just being a little bitch about how I should have just gone and spoken to Harsh, and he was after a point I think just to egg me on, he was like, Harsh doesn't even know you exist, and like try to belittle me. And this friend of mine knew me very well because he knew that I was going to do something about it. I wasn't going to let him be right. So I found his number from the Facebook cultural committee group, and I called him up and I told him, I think you're cute.
And I was sitting in McDonald's with my friends. So also prior to Prachi making this call, we were taking a class photo just at the stairway of our college. And I saw her going out of the college premises with a bunch load of books. And I just stared at her. Like, I think I just went crazy staring at her.
Yeah, very crazy.
Yeah, and I was just looking at her like, oh, is this the last time I'm going to see her? Because like I'm done with college. I wish I would have made a move. I don't even know whether she likes me or not. Like all these questions in my head looking at her. Then she went. And then
yeah, that's when I was hoping that he was going to call me, but he
Yeah.
didn't. And then I had that inevitable conversation with my friend that led to us
I'm glad that conversation did happen.
talking. Yes.
And she made that call. I was sitting in McDonald's with my friends.
I was at the beach. I was in Juhu Beach.
And she called me and she's like, I find you really cute. And
I think I told you all the best for all your future endeavors because I was like, what do you tell someone who's leaving college and you're never going to see again?
and you were very almost about to just
I was going to cut
the
the call.
call. Like, I
yeah.
get it, I
it
get
felt
it.
like a dare to me. I was like, I'm just going to do it to like
Yeah.
mess with my friend.
yeah. So I could sense that like, okay, I like.
Yeah.
But I was like, no, wait, this is please stay. And then I just went like, I find you cute as well.
Yeah,
And
and then I remember you telling me that, you know what, I'd like to, we should go out sometime. And I was like, okay, sure. Everyone says that, but nobody follows through. And then you said that you were going to text me. But then you didn't text me the whole day. Like he was at McDonald's and apparently he was too cheap to have data in his phone. So he was like, I need to go home to get Wi-Fi to text this girl.
I was cheap. Just saying.
So he texted me at night and we had this conversation in the morning. So it was the whole day and I was like, okay, he's definitely ghosted me. He's definitely not interested. But no, he texted back.
Honestly, I was feeling things I had never felt in my life. Very true to God. I just didn't know how to. I better say the right words is what came in my mind. And it just went through. I was in so much excitement. And yeah, once I reached home, I was like in karma and I was like, okay, now let's like plan this out. And we went on our very first day, the next date itself. Sorry.
Very first date, the next
You
day
see,
itself.
just like that excitement is still there.
Aww.
We went on our very first date, the next day itself.
Yeah, and I remember he was late to pick me up.
Yeah, that is a habit that took, I think, a year or two after
years,
us
baby,
getting together.
Years to get rid of. But now
Ah.
he's never late and he's always on time and he appreciates my time and I appreciate him appreciating my time.
Yeah,
But yeah, on that first date, he was so late that I started walking from my house to meet him where his car was. Because I was like, I want to do something. I'm not just going to stand down and look at my watch waiting for him to come. So I started walking towards the road where his car was and then he came and we met halfway.
Yeah, that was a long walk. I know now because like I've seen that distance and I'm like, oh shit, I made a walk on the first date because I was late. And I'm like, I cannot see you. I cannot find you. And I
Yeah.
was all lost that time. But
Yeah, we met and then we went on a drive. We went to a restaurant. We had a lovely conversation and that was the first date and we've just been having crazy conversations since
Yeah.
that date.
On the first date, we went to an Asian restaurant and we parked the car. We crossed the street. It was very cute.
He held my hand.
We held each other's hand and hands. And yeah, one really cute memory I have from this date night is that once we were done with our meals, firstly, though, Prachi pulled out a set of questions which you ask someone to
Make them fall in love with you.
to make them fall in love with you. And on our first date itself, we answered these questions and it did work.
It
Like
did.
we learned
I
so much
mean,
about each other. And
8 years, you know it works.
yeah, and it was really nice. Like I love that those questions that you asked and this,
Thanks. I think you were building up to tell the story of what happened at the end of the date.
yes, getting to that.
Yeah.
So we had that lovely conversation, and towards the end of the date, this restaurant offers this cake called Mission Impossible.
Yeah, because it's a huge ass cake with a lot of
Very
ice
big
cream.
cake. We ordered it, and once it came, we looked at it and we were like, "Wow, this is a big cake. It lives up to its name." And we were in shock. I think it was me who said that. How am I going to How are we going to finish this cake? Then Prachi said the cutest thing ever.
Maybe cheesy.
Yeah, cutest, and maybe cheesy. I like cheesy. She said that, "Don't worry, together we'll make it possible." And I was blown. I was like, "You said that? This is the rom-com I'm living right now. She's the girl of my
honestly,
dreams."
I can't remember saying that.
You did say
I
it, and
can't remember saying that.
it's such a core memory in me because there was the first date, and then we ordered a cake, and like you saying that in a cute, funny way. I'm sure you humored yourself, but it came out so nicely, and yeah, I was
Interesting. I can't remember that, but I'm glad I said it.
kind of set base for we can make anything possible. So that was our first date.
That was our first date. Wow, that was nice to relive that. What's your memory of the first few years of us dating and how that was like? What do you remember? What are like some highlight moments from then?
I absolutely remember coming to your place on the bike. Like I had a bike at that point
Yeah,
of
he was
time.
a KTM boy
I'm a KTM boss. I was that cool kid in my head.
in his head.
So I used to come to pick her up from her place, and I recall going on a lot of dates in like local areas
Yeah,
near
we
your place.
would go on drives and rides on your bike
And we used to have a lot of late night calls during that time.
lots of texting. I don't think we text at all anymore.
Yeah,
All our texts are just like, come here. Please come here. I'm here. I'll meet you here. It's all that. And then we never text. But yeah,
Yeah.
we used to have we would text so much and we'd be up all night and talking to each other and video calling and
yeah.
texting. We lived pretty close to each other. It wasn't too far. We were like half an hour away from each other. So Harsh would show up all the time at all odd hours without informing me. And he would just be like, I'm down. Come, let's meet. Let's go for a walk. And I was always very happy to be pursued in that way. And I also remember one time he cycled from his house to my house.
I remember that.
On the highway, on the Western Express highway. And I was like, what? In the middle of traffic, you're cycling and coming? Yeah, but he did. You were crazy back then.
Yeah, it's kind
I
of.
mean, you're still crazy right now.
I've just mellowed it down. It's there in me.
Yeah, I
The-
know.
The craziness
I've
is just
seen it.
it's just
I've
sitting
seen
to.
it all.
I want to, like, if you give me the opportunity, I will go crazy.
I
But
know
yeah,
that.
before there was like no mellowing down. It was just like go crazy. Let's just chew it.
Yeah, I remember this is like a running conversation all the time in our life. Is in those beginning years, you had no sense of style, and you
I went on a date wearing a ganji, a orange ganji.
orange ganji. His head was shaved. He was wearing shorts and chappals, and we're at like a nice restaurant having dinner.
And now
And I didn't mind it back then, but now that I think about it, I was like, what was I thinking entertaining this dude?
I'm glad you did. I was talking to Prachi this the other day. I was like, I was testing you secretly. I was
Aw.
like showing you how bad it can look. And once you approve of it in its worst form, then I will show you that I can also be like a gem, you know, like a diamond. Like
You
it's,
are a
it's
diamond.
covered in coal, but then when you polish it and all, it's a diamond.
It is a diamond.
So no, I didn't have such plans really, but it kind of worked out in that way. So I just say
I
it
think we
that
were
way.
just so young. We didn't know what dating was about.
Yeah.
I mean, I was 18, 19, you were 20, 21. We were babies.
We were babies.
Wow.
In that first year, I remember. So, firstly, didn't ever get such thoughtful gifts in my life ever before. So, firstly, I was just so happy that she made something from heart, and she came with these bunch of boxes, which was all decorated. Everything was hand done. She had wrapped it so nicely. Everything was beautifully made. There was one box which had goalkeeper gloves,
Ah.
and she wrote in that in a small letter saying that you're a keeper for life. And I was like, oh, I just love that. Then there was another gift. In that gift, she wrote a letter for different scenarios in life. And it was so thoughtful, so beautiful. For examples, open this letter when you are missing me. Open this letter when your birthday is completed. Open this letter when you're not feeling well. Open this letter when you want motivation. Open this letter, like in different scenarios. And everything was handwritten. Like I remember there was one in which open this letter if you're missing me. She had like taken a napkin, put lipstick on, and like kissed the napkin, and that napkin piece was inside there with the letter. And she was like, "You can just kiss this if you're missing me." I was like, "Oh."
Wow. I
Yeah.
can't believe how cheesy I was.
I loved it. She won me over. Like she had already won me over, but now she kept winning me over and over and over and
Aw.
over. Yeah.
That's cute.
Yeah, I remember those gifts.
Mm.
What else do you recall from this first few years of dating?
One thing I remember and look back on fondly is how I don't know how to verbalize what's going on in my head, like verbalize what I want to say, but basically how you helped me come out of my shell and you helped me become more comfortable and feel more safe, and how I used to be so like quiet and awkward and unsure of myself, and how over the years, and especially the first few years, you made me feel comfortable and you made me feel loved, and you helped me get over some things. And yeah,
I'm
that.
glad I could be there. Yeah, I remember when we were having our late night calls, you used to tell me that, like, when I used to go, like, just talk to me and you can share anything with me. And we were still in our first year or second year of dating. We were still like, still opening up and being vulnerable with each other. And during that time, you told me that, Harsh, you just know like 20% of my life. Or like, I remember that number increasing
over time.
over time, and it was so beautiful. And I also remember, I don't know if you recall or not, I actually go see, I know that I know whatever percentage of you now, right now, and I want to spend the rest of my life
I
keeping
remember.
on knowing more about you.
Yeah.
I'll never know 100% about you, and I just love that fact.
You know what? There was a point, I think, when I was opening up more and getting more vulnerable. And as you said, I would tell you that, okay, now you know 20% of my life. Now you know 50% of my life. But there came a point where we hit 80%, where I was only comfortable sharing a certain level of my life with you. And I was like, okay, this is it. You're not getting more out of me. Like, I can't bear to have my heart broken again. So this is all you're getting out of me. But I don't know when that stopped being true and how you've just gotten to know me more than 100%. Now you're able to predict my every move and my every sentence, and you know what my facial reaction is going to be when you give me a certain thing or give me a gift or something, and you know exactly everything. And I don't know when that happened, because I remember keeping on saying that, okay, that's it, 80%, that's it. But I never realized that I opened up more. I was so subtle, change from a max of 80% to now like 100 and 1000%.
Yeah, I think you're right. Eventually, it was that, and then it just grew with time. And it was beautiful how the entire journey was of you opening up. And I know that you found it difficult because of past experiences and things like that to really go out and open. And you didn't know exactly where this is going at that point
Yeah.
clearly. But I'm glad that eventually you did open up to me.
Yeah, me too. I can't imagine going back to a space where you don't know everything about me and you don't know every minute of what's going on in my brain. Like I can't even imagine that. Anyway, speaking of where this was going, what do you think of, okay, let me ask you, why did you think of proposing to me and like proposing marriage, and how did that change go from being someone who was like a boyfriend to me to thinking of yourself as a fiance, or like me as your wife in the future? Like, how did that change go in your brain, and how did you think about making that happen for you,
Wow.
happen for us?
I think that after the first 2 years, or after the first year or 2 years, yeah, I think around that time I was ready, honestly. But I knew that you wanted to take time with things. So I was so just ready to just ask you the question and ask you whether you'll be my wife very early on in the relationship. But I recall somewhere that you had mentioned that you want to get done with college, you want to work a bit, you want to do life, you want to travel a bit on your own and like just see where it goes. And then when you're comfortable towards your late 20s, consider marriage. So I held it back and I like just kept it with me. But yeah, it was a bubbling thought. Over time, what I realized is that thought of yours changed.
Yeah. As you now know, I am a changing being, and like what I think yesterday is not what I hold true today.
Yeah, Prachi changes thoughts very quickly sometimes. But no, I'm kidding. So I remember like I had understood a lot about you and I could understand your comfort with me. And I could see that the relationship we were forming was a forever one. Like I already envisioned growing old with you and like we were talking about life and things. So I think eventually when we started having conversations more comfortably about future, when we would just casually go like, how would our proposal be like? When you would casually talk about how many kids do you think we would have? Like, where do you think we would live in the world? How do you think our life would be? So when we had those conversations, I got more comfortable with the thought. And around the time when COVID happened and I was not able to meet you in that stretch.
I think it was just a month that we didn't meet.
Yes.
Maybe month or 45 days.
I felt uncomfortable. I was like, because she lived far away, like not far away, but like it was a distance to travel. And during COVID,
during COVID, you couldn't even leave your building.
Yeah. So I remember that time. And I think that feeling really became strong at that time, that as soon as this zone is done, and if I get a gist from you that you're ready, because your college also just got done during that time, that let's plan on how we can make this proposal happen. Like I want to spend the rest of my life with you, and I want to spend it with you, like beside you. I want to wake up to you. I want to say good morning as I said today morning. I want to say a good night, give you a kiss. And I want that to happen now. Like, what are we waiting for? This is perfect. This is beautiful. Like, all those emotions came through.
Yeah.
And COVID got done, things got relaxed. I went in that whole zone. I remember going through so many Pinterest ideas, so many YouTube ideas, because we were in Mumbai and I didn't want to just like do something which was done casually. I knew that the proposal was a very special moment for you and I wanted to put my heart and soul into it. And that's what I did. And I was able to plan something out in that time. And when the moment felt right, I remember just telling you the day prior that dress up in your best look.
Yeah.
Because I'm coming to pick you up tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
I guess you grabbed the hint there.
Of course I did.
Yes. So yeah, that's around what I was going through. What about you? Like when I spoke about this part where you had this whole transition in thought. How did that come about?
Yeah. When I was young, like when we had just started dating, I was still in like, 18, 19, 20, when I was very, very young. I used to think that, oh, I have to be this independent woman who's got to have life figured out. She's going to have this crazy job and she's going to live and travel on her own terms. And at that point, I thought like a husband would not fit into this plan because traditionally my view of a husband, the family I grew up in, and how TV and movies show a husband is not the kind of thing that you and I share. I thought it was going to be very different. I thought a relationship and a marriage would be very, very different from what you and I have. So considering that, I had these plans of being solo, alone, doing my own thing, and not having a guy stop me or whatever. But then when we started dating and when we started sharing our lives with each other, I saw the kind of person you were, and that's sort of what made me change my mindset around marriage. And it's not like I did it to please you or something. It's because I realized that that image I had in my mind was incorrect. If it happened to other women where they got married without their consent, or like to a guy who they just met like 2 days before they got married and got arranged marriage, and if their lives changed, it's because I mean, that's so many reasons, but it happened to them, but that doesn't mean it's going to happen to me. So the guy that I choose, I get the choice to choose and to be conscious of the person I let into my life. And when I started dating you, I realized that this choice that I would make as a choice of who's my future husband going to be like, this choice I'm very happy with, because I realize who this choice represents and what this choice is going to lead me to and what my life is going to be like. So that's sort of what changed my mindset around marriage. And I didn't think of marriage as it's going to limit me or like make me a housewife or something. I realized that with you, it's going to give me more wings and it's going to give me more freedom and it's going to give me more independence than I did have as a young teenager. And then I'd get more choices and I'd live this wonderful life with a partner beside me and all of that. So it turned like my meaning of marriage and my meaning of what a life with a husband looked like turned on its head when I met you. And then, yeah, even I was like, within a few years, I realized that I was going to marry you and that we were going to be together.
Aw.
But I was in college and I couldn't marry you in college. I mean, my parents wouldn't have allowed it. I wouldn't have allowed it. But I even thought that even with you, I'd wait a bit. I'd wait until after college and
Yeah.
we'd do some traveling and we'd do some life stuff and then we'd get married. I didn't think it was going to happen immediately after. Like, I barely had my degree in hand when you proposed. And I didn't know that was going to happen. But COVID changed everything. I realized that something like this could happen in the world and I couldn't meet you for months at a time. And if this happened again and we're not together, then I'm not going to meet you. And yeah, it was just like, I don't want to live without you
Aw.
anymore. So
Cutie.
yeah. So that's when I started aggressively dropping ring hints and like marriage conversations in our regular date nights, and we'd talk about where we'd live and what we'd do. And
Yeah.
when I realized that we were both on the same page, but we were like kind of shy about, oh, but do we actually say, do you want to get married, or is it like a more of a thing that happens with family? Like, I don't know how it happens. I'm a young ass modern girl. I don't know what families do, and I don't know what boys think about marriage. But you and I used to have those conversations like mazak mein. I didn't know when you would gonna propose, but I basically told you I was ready to get married.
Yes.
But it was still your choice to propose and when to propose. But yeah, that's when I started dropping hints, and yeah, that's what changed my mind about marriage.
This part about dropping hints, that's when the whole ring part comes into picture.
Yes.
That's
Girls, listen up. If you and your partner decide that you're going to get married someday and you have a certain type of vision about the proposal, or you have a certain type of vision about the kind of ring you want, then have that conversation. This is not 1950s anymore where we are supposed to be these demure, shy women with like no desires. We should be able to voice our opinions and we can have whatever we want. So if you want a particular ring, then you make sure to let that guy know what kind of ring you want, just as I did. And then I got that ring, and yeah, I'm very happy about it.
I'm glad to
No-
hear that.
No regrets.
I'm happy to hear that. So yeah, I'm glad that you did share so many references. It was very educational for
Yeah,
me.
because I realized like guys have zero knowledge about jewelry or fashion or anything. And I'm gonna help you, of course, because this I'm gonna wear this ring forever. I'm gonna see it every day, so I want to make sure that I like it.
I'm glad you felt that way and did that way, because I know other couples, and like I've just heard stories, but I've never heard of this part where people give clarity to the other person what they would like, and the guys usually go into confusion and they're like, yeah, and they ask other guys.
Yeah, like-
guys don't know what to suggest to other guys.
Yeah, you know, like I've seen these horrible videos of like guys proposing to women online, like on YouTube and stuff, and how wrong they can go because they have their entire families in front of you, and
Oh,
like
yes.
the girl is not ready to get married, so she doesn't know how to say no, and these proposals gone wrong are just hilarious to watch. So I wanted to make sure none of that happened to me. So I told you exactly what my vision was and what I wanted.
I understood that I need to be wearing a tuxedo on the
Yes,
proposal
you do.
evening, which I wouldn't know if I didn't see those Pinterest saved stuff. So thank you.
Yeah.
I remember seeing movies, and just even when I was in college and like when I was a kid, I remember that whenever I want to marry someone, I will make sure taking permission and asking from the family or hand first. And I recall secretly, this was still like post-COVID, you could only meet in limitations. So I remember secretly coming under your building, asking your parents to come down. I made them sit in the car.
Yeah, I know this story
Yeah,
now.
and your dad was on my left, your mom was behind, and I was like, I got something important to tell you guys. And they were like concerned, like, ye kya hai? Because they don't no one is prepared for this.
Yeah.
And I didn't tell them anything. And I was like, I want to ask your daughter's hand in marriage. And they were so happy. And it was, yeah. I remember this thing. I also spoke to Pranav. Pranav was Prachi's brother. They were all excited. They were like, where are you doing it? When are you doing it? I told everyone the plan. I spoke to my parents also. Except Prachi, who I guess sort of figured, because I'm very bad at lying.
Yeah,
Like,
it's terrible at lying.
I don't lie, basically.
Yeah.
I just tell her, ye scene hai. Or this is me lying. Hey, babe, I'm not hungry.
Oh, we're gonna have food after this podcast is recorded, okay, babe?
Yes. So I remember this whole build up. And then the proposal day came, and
I remember before the day of the proposal, you took me out.
I took you out.
I was so confused because you were not wearing a tuxedo. I was not wearing the dress I thought I would be wearing. But we went to Marine Drive, and I think we went to Pizza by the Bay. We had like a nice lunch, and then we sat on Marine Drive. And you were just so like, I have a photo from that day of yours. You were just so like dizzy or like dreamy, I would call it. You had these crazy eyes, and
I had the crazy
I
eyes.
didn't know what to expect. I was like, is he going to propose now? This is not what I thought I told him. I thought I was clear in my hints. But yeah, that didn't happen. He dropped me home and I was like, okay, what a weird date. But it was a nice date. It was just that I was expecting the proposal to happen because that's when we were
I remember.
that's when we were having conversations.
I also remember that when we went on this date, you had something written down, like a questionnaire.
I did.
You remember this questionnaire,
Oh.
which guaranteed whether we are good to go or not for marriage.
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah, I did.
And I passed. I passed that questionnaire.
Yes, I saw a bunch of videos, or like I read a bunch of books. I don't know which it was, or I just saw some stuff on Pinterest, and it was like, you want to make sure that the guy you're going to marry, you and him are on the same page. So it's just a bunch of questions about like kids and religion and how we want to raise them and like where we want to live and what are our thoughts on money and finances and future goals and all of that. So even though you and I had those conversations in bits and pieces and over our 5 years up until that point, I just wanted to make sure that, again, just want to make sure that we're on the same page. So yeah, I had this list of questions to ask about.
And coincidentally, it happened just the night before, like the evening before.
That I don't know.
Yeah, and you get it like that.
Yeah.
Like I was like, oh, she's gonna be in a good vibe now. Like I have given all the thumbs up, like all the green flags are up. So yes, she, obviously I was confident that she wouldn't say no, but you still have that one thought, right? I'll do the whole proposal. Kya ye na bolegi? That sort of weird fear. Then the proposal happened.
It was the best thing
Yes.
ever. I had no idea what to expect, but it was the whole 9 yards. There were candles, there were balloons, there were flowers, there were rose petals, there was beautiful music playing. He was dressed in a tuxedo, I was dressed in a beautiful red dress, and it was the sunset, and it was just beautiful.
Yeah, I was very concerned about pulling it off properly. It was just how I envisioned it, and I had never seen anyone do this. Like, And
Like friends or stuff.
yeah, friends or someone in
family.
close family or
Yeah.
someone in the city. You were looking so beautiful that day,
Thank you.
and it was so pretty. I was crying. Prachi was
I was
crying.
crying so much. We had a lovely dinner afterwards, and then we went to your place, and all our family was there, and all our friends were there, dressed up again in tuxedos and fancy
Yeah.
evening gowns, and we had a after party of the proposal.
Everything was really
Very
fun.
nice.
Like it was a
And then I
beautiful
remember
night.
having a lot of parties after
Oh,
we got engaged.
so many
Then we had a party
parties.
for friends. We had a party for like friends that were family. We had a party for family. We had so many parties
I
to
remember.
celebrate our engagement.
It was a whole party scene that
Yeah,
time.
it was like after those 3 months after we got engaged were just like parties after parties.
Yeah. After we got engaged, we also had a small ceremony for family,
Like an engagement ceremony.
like an engagement ceremony. We tried to keep it small. It was still
There's a lot of people. Yeah, that's when I realized that I cannot have a traditional wedding. Up until that point, I thought I wanted like the red dress and the haldi ceremony and this and the 3 days of people dancing drunk. But yeah, at
People
the
dancing
engagement
drunk.
ceremony, I was like, I cannot do this for 3 days straight.
so we treated the engagement like marriage only. Like,
Yeah, we did. Like, not marriage, a wedding.
we treated the engagement like a wedding only.
Yeah.
Like
After we got engaged at that traditional ceremony, and
we were like staying at each
we
other's.
were staying at each other's house, we were traveling.
We were traveling together. Everything is done.
Yeah, it's like, abhi ho gayi shaadi.
हो ही
almost.
गया अभी क्या है.
But then our parents were like, Shadi kab karo, Shadi kab
Haan.
karo. And then that was like, I remember that whole year after we got engaged, and it was just like, our parents were trying to make these elaborate wedding plans.
Oh,
and
yes.
it was, in the beginning, it was hard to bring them back to earth and remind them of what we wanted. But then, yeah, somewhere along the way, we were able to convince them to not have a big wedding, and we just had a court wedding with 12 people there.
Yeah, I'm glad that we did a court wedding.
Me too. It's been 3 years since we got married, and not once have I felt like we made the wrong choice.
Yeah.
I'm so glad we had a court wedding.
Yeah, because mainly everyone who I've seen who has like a big wedding, they are not so involved apart from the fact that they're tired.
Yeah, and nobody's enjoying at their wedding. They're all just like
Worried.
making sure, planning stuff, worried,
Everyone
running around like
everyone
crazy
is
people.
happy.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I feel like the weddings that happen when there are like, 4,000 people in attendance, it's not for the couple. It's for those 4,000 people. It's the couple is not there to enjoy. And I was just like, what's the point of spending lakhs of rupees if I'm not going to enjoy? So I was just like, I got to enjoy my day.
yeah.
Our day, sorry.
So it's your day, baby. I was there. But yeah, so we did like a court wedding, and it was very beautiful.
It was, and then we did the court wedding, trying to convince our parents that let us do the court wedding, let us get married officially because you guys are feeling embarrassed that we're traveling and living at each other's house. Let us get married officially, and then we'll do like a big wedding reception that
We
you guys
schemed.
want. We schemed them.
That big wedding never happened.
Never
we didn't even let them
happened.
throw a party.
Never happened.
We were like, no, now what is it? But what we did tell them is, see, we have saved money for everyone in the
Yeah.
process. No one spent any money.
Yeah.
Like, how beautiful is
I
that?
think we spent like 10,000 rupees on our wedding.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
Though, in this time, during the engagement and during the wedding, we got a lot of gifts.
we did.
And our families, thank you, families, were so kind. Firstly, it happened on the engagement ceremony.
Yeah, we got like a lot of gifts from our grandparents, our parents, our families. Those
Shagun,
shagun
they
that
call
you
it
get.
in India.
And we use that shagun to travel the world. Thank you guys.
Thank you, guys. Yeah, we would like to thank you for all the amazing experiences you gifted us, which is amazing. We were just still figuring out life and
Yeah, we were barely making any money.
And-
that really propelled us into this dream that we're living now. And then also our parents gifted us our honeymoon to Maldives, which is
Yes.
so generous.
so generous.
And then we went to Maldives, which was so amazing. And it's become like one of our favorite places. We've been back 4 times now.
Yeah. And that's pretty much all we wanted. We wanted experiences with each other
Yeah.
and not like a thing to show the world something. Because we
Yeah.
were so happy with ourselves.
Yeah.
Our families are happy. Our friends are happy.
Yeah.
That's all that mattered to us. So yeah, we got married within a 1 year
Yeah,
gap.
since we got engaged.
Since we got
exactly 1 year because we got engaged on 19 September 2021 and no 2020 and we got married on 15 September 2021. So like within a year.
Yeah. How have things changed ever since we got married? Has anything changed?
Some things have changed. Now I don't have to take permission to meet you.
Yeah.
Now I don't have to stay up all night and like mess up my cycle to talk to you. Now I can talk to you in the day and like sleep at night. Those things have changed. Now I don't have to send you messages saying I miss you. Now we're together 24/7. The thing that has changed since we've gotten married is we haven't spent more than 48 hours apart.
Oh yeah, we haven't, and we
Not
can't.
more
Like,
than 48
the
hours
body
apart.
feels weird.
Yeah, I just cannot function. I think apart from that, nothing has changed. Our relationship has stayed the same, if not gotten better. We've gotten much more better at talking to each other about our deeper feelings and being more vulnerable and not feeling ashamed about some things. And I think we've gotten more closer, and our relationship has gotten more meaningful ever since we've gotten married.
Very true.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I know we got married like officially on paper and stuff, but
Yeah,
like
but-
I've told this to you before
Yeah,
also.
we were married.
We were married way
since,
before.
Yeah, day one almost. Maybe day 20, but yeah.
Yeah, like we were in that marriage wala zone already. Like we know ki
Yeah.
this is forever.
Yeah.
Like, yahi hai.
Yeah. It's crazy, right? Like we got to experience that right from the beginning. And it's so, I mean, I'm not saying this is how it should be, but I'm glad that this is our story and that
Yeah.
we've had this insane like relationship, because I love it. It's like the one source of joy in my life.
Oh,
Yeah.
same. I just also want to say a huge shout out or like a thank you to our family because they've been supportive of this relationship since day one.
I realize like it must be so hard to have your family be opposed to your
Yeah, I mean,
partner.
they were always like positive about everything linked to us, and they
Yeah.
just wanted us to go ahead and be together
Yeah.
and be happy.
And we come from India. So in India, there's a lot of things wrong that I don't want to get into. But one of the things that are wrong is people want to be within their community and their religion, and they don't want to have people marry other people that are not in their religion. And Harsh and I don't share that. And we're from different communities in different parts of India. But our parents were definitely not at all like
Yeah, they were chill.
how some other people can be when there are two people who are not from the same caste or community. And I just love that. I love how easy it was. That's what I was saying. I'm so grateful for this relationship and everything that has happened, because it's been so nice and easy and flowy, and there's not been any troubles, and it's all just been really, really good.
Yeah.
Touch everything, touch all kinds of wood.
All right. I think we've spoken so much about the good stuff. Let's talk a bit about our difficult times. Okay, I will start this off.
Okay.
All right. Before marriage, I remember that there would come some difficult conversations, and we would be
You
away
mean
from
about money?
money or what we're going to do in life.
There was all of that confusion, yes.
Yes.
About career.
Of
and-
career,
yeah.
and because we were in such hazy areas in our life,
Yeah.
and I know it would get sometimes uncomfortable. But like you already spoke on this earlier as well, that once we got married, I'm glad that we understood even more deeper about ourselves on how to convey these things more
Yeah.
clearly.
Yeah.
Before, I remember we would shove it under the carpet if it was too difficult a conversation. But since we got married and since we understood ourselves more deeper, we understood that we need to have some uncomfortable conversations, get some clarity on it. We'll figure it together. And I feel that communication has just become stronger, and not just career-wise, not just money-wise, also emotion-wise. Like sometimes I'm having a hard day, sometimes you're having a hard day. We have understood how to share that with the other person. If we are feeling that we're getting that sort of a vibe, like just telling them in a most honest and sweet way while respecting their feelings, that I'm also getting hurt in this process. And the communication we have been sharing, and that's been growing. Like to be able to even tell this right now without thinking that, oh shit, what did I say? Like feels nice that
Yeah.
we are in that space where we are gentle with each other and
Yeah.
respectful of each other's emotions
Yeah.
and opinions and thoughts, even if it's contradictory, even if it's at that certain point not matching. We try to understand,
Especially if it's not matching.
especially if it's not matching, we try to understand what the other person was thinking,
Yeah.
and we give ourselves that space.
Yeah.
And we have understood that communication, that one word, that one thing is so deep, so important for any relationship.
I agree with everything you said. But when I was younger and I would look at other people and other older couples, and they would say, you have to be communicating well. Communication is the key. Communication is the key. I was just like, what the fuck does that mean? So I guess I just want to clarify for people who are watching it and thinking what I used to think when I was younger. What does it mean when we say communication? What comes to me is just being honest, just being respectful, and never lying. I don't think I've lied to you once in 8 years. Not even a white lie, not even a little small lie that doesn't even matter in the grand scheme of things. I've never lied to you, and I know you've never lied to me. And that's like literally the base of communication, is like to always be honest and to never lie, no matter how hard the conversation is or how uncomfortable you are about it. just never lie and always be honest. And even though things may be hard or the conversation may be tough, power through it and just be honest. And by honesty, I don't mean like brass honesty, like this is what it is, take it or leave it, this is how I am, I'm never going to change. That's not what I mean. I mean just accepting even the wrong things with you. Like, be honest that, okay, you know what, that's a bad habit. I agree, it is a bad habit. I shouldn't have spoken to you that way, or I shouldn't have done that thing, and I'm sorry about it. Like, it's so easy to just, maybe it's not easy, but it's so easy also at the same time to just be honest, because you don't have to think about the lie. Honesty is literally just saying what's the scene and like being raw and real. And you don't have to think of elaborate lies to cover up whatever issues that you're facing. So I guess by communication, what Harsh and I mean is to be honest and to not be afraid of sharing your truth or being vulnerable with each other. And that's like the basis of communication. And from there you build up and you put respectfulness into it. You put respecting each other's time into it. You put being soft and approaching conversations with love into it, and then it gives you the whole recipe for communication and good communication in a relationship. But I guess I just wanted to clarify what people mean by when they say communication. It just means be honest, be respectful, and approach things with love.
Perfect. I also want to add to that it is so important for partners to create that space to communicate.
For sure.
To be citing some scenarios for us also, like when we started being more open to each other, it's once we ourselves spoke something that we are feeling which is not connected to each other, and also created a space that, see, I think maybe you might be uncomfortable with this. If you're not free to share, like if you're not in a space to share with me right now, no worries. But whenever you do feel comfortable, I'm here to hear you out.
Yeah.
And I'm there with you. I'll support you. So
Yeah.
that sort of space needs to be created.
Yeah, for sure. Sometimes things can be hard to even accept to yourself. But that's what I was saying earlier, that it is easy to just accept it because you don't have to think of a lie. But sometimes for other people, it is easier to think of the lie than to accept the hardships or to accept the things that are wrong. But yeah, having the other person or your partner build that space for you where it's safe, where there's no judgment, where you feel like I'd rather be open than be lying. To have that space of love, kindness, all of that is so important. I so agree with you.
Absolutely. Wow. I'm glad that we touched on that because I think it's really important.
For sure. So earlier you said that we spoke about a lot of good things, and let's talk about the harder things. What's a hard moment from our relationship that you remember? Like a hard thing that we went through?
So we work together constantly, and that's the thing. So we are like with each other 24/7. We are married, we work together, and everything's together. So life-wise, so we have our conversations, but sometimes when we have our conversations linked to work, and I want to say it out loud without having that conversation slip into our life. Like that sort of
like work blend into life when it's not really about it. It's just about work.
It's just about work. So initially I found it difficult to kind of break barriers there and say it because I was worried because you know it, that our work and life was mingled up. So I was worried of how am I going to do this, whether you will carry this emotion which I shared into our life as well. That was a difficult point. But again, we spoke about that. We had a few tough conversations on it. Absolutely. When we had these conversations, it's not like we had the conversation and the next 2 hours are sorted. There is a coldness in the air. We feel like weird, like what happened, but we give each other space, and that has really helped. Like we have a conversation. It was difficult. We sense it. We are like, okay, I'm feeling uncomfortable. Are you? You also like, okay, fine. We both do our things for a few hours.
Take a pause.
Take a pause from that conversation.
Reflect within ourselves.
And then we come back. And then we cuddle. And then we go, see, I'm glad you shared. Or you go like, I'm glad I shared. And it's okay. Like we know it. It's out there now. Whoever feels that they can help make that scenario better. Like when it comes to work, things like being proactive in a certain area or things when it comes to level of perfectionism. Like there's this balance that we're trying to meet. So after we have spoken about it, after we have understood, okay, this is where I can get better, this is where you can do a bit more, and giving ourselves that space, it has become more smoother. And yeah, that was sort of a difficult conversation to have for me. That whole smaller part.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I get it. Yeah.
What about you? Like, what is your memory of a tough conversation?
I feel like you and I have tough conversations all the time because our life isn't easy and we're doing some crazy things. And those crazy things require some crazy effort and also some crazy conversations. So we have tough conversations all the time. But I think one theme that I notice when we have tough conversations, like one theme that comes up for us, and I think it might come up for a lot of people, is around finances and money, because that's a tough conversation. That's a tough thing to be dealing with as someone who's building your own business, or even if you're not building your own business, even if you're just working and you're for the first time in your 20s, you're responsible for your own money and your parents are not giving you any money anymore and you're not living on pocket money and everything is yours and you have to figure out savings and you have to figure out insurance and all of that. It's a tough thing to be going through, as any 20-year-old would attest. So that's a theme that I've seen whenever you and I have conversations about money, especially because we have such differing views and we grew up so differently and we think so differently about money, and we were working through some limiting mindsets about money. I would notice how I would immediately get so defensive when it came to money or money conversations, or you would be worried about money and like how we're making things happen and what to do about things. And so we just have so differing views about that topic, but we never fight about it. We never say that this is it, like this is what you have to do. We're always like a team tackling this issue together than playing table tennis with money as the ball. We're instead looking at it from a perspective where you and I are together and money is something that we're tackling together like a team. It's like even when we're having tough conversations, it's never me versus you. It's always us versus this issue. Whenever money comes up, because we are freelancers at the end of the day, we don't have incomes every month and money comes up a lot. I'm glad to say we never fight about it the way that I saw fighting about money in my childhood. I'm glad that we have such a healthy relationship, especially with each other, but then also with other aspects. We're able to view it nicely and we're able to talk about it nicely and work through it together.
No, absolutely, I agree with you. Money and finances has been a topic which kind of triggers those uncomfortable feelings within us. It's just that space, but I'm glad that we tackle it as a team and not as you are seeing your money, see, and I'm saying it's not that way at all.
Yeah.
We share all our,
we share everything. Something that we get often asked is like, oh, who pays for what? Do you
Like,
keep money separate?
we don't
It's
get that
never
question.
been like
Yeah.
that from day one. From day one, our money has been together and it's like a pooled resource that we look at it together. And it's never, I'll pay for dinner, you pay for the car, or it's not like that.
We look at it from it's our money.
Yeah.
It's not her or mine, or that's a very negative way I feel of looking at it. Especially if you're a couple. Like you should look at it at both of your money.
Yeah.
It's a shared thing. And since day one it's been like that. Since day one it was smaller amounts.
Yeah.
But
and there was a lot of debt. But
there was a lot there, but we shared it.
Yeah, we shared it.
Like I remember piling on credit card bills, but we shared the bills, and when we got the money, we made sure to clear it off. So that was some of the difficult conversations we had. I also want to touch a bit on how we have grown as individuals in this relationship. Via
so much.
I
love this.
Yeah,
I love our relationship because it's given me the wings to fly higher than I thought was possible. I used to think that there was a peak of what I would be able to achieve in my 20s. I used to think, okay, corporate job, I'll make some money, I'll save some, I will go on one big vacation every year. And that's what I thought. I'd buy some cool clothes for myself. I live in a nice 1-bedroom apartment. I thought that was the peak of what I was supposed to achieve. But I love our relationship because it's allowed us and also me to grow much, much more than I thought was possible for me. And similar for you, I think.
Absolutely. Like, I have grown so much in this relationship. I have become a learner again, which was kind of lost along the way. I don't know why. But being with Prachi, and she has been so keen on learning, educating, implementing things in her life, I picked onto that habit. So thank you for that. And I've grown as an individual. I truly feel I reflect upon the things I'm doing now, on the type of habits I'm following these days, on the type of person I'm becoming. I'm so proud of myself. And that's only happened thanks to being in this relationship with you.
Same. I feel like I wouldn't be this person if I hadn't met you or if we hadn't gone on this crazy adventure we call our marriage and our relationship. I feel so much more confident as a person now. I used to be so shy and awkward as a college student. I remember whenever I had to give a presentation in college, I would always stutter and my mouth would always go dry, and my friends would always ask me what was wrong after a presentation because they thought something bad happened, but they didn't realize that that's just who I was at that point. I was afraid of being the person in the room who had all the attention and who had to speak to everyone in the room. But now I am so confident. I can do whatever I want. I can give a TEDx talk, which I have,
Which we have,
only
yes.
because of you and the confidence you've shown in me, and the kind of how you've nurtured me to come out of my shell and to embrace my full potential. So that's only happened because of you, and I love you for that.
And I love you too. I think that's another key takeaway for anyone who is in a relationship as well. That not only that you're in a relationship, you're not just two people who are growing old together, you're growing up together, you're growing as individuals. You can complement each other, you can learn from each other, you can help the other person get better at whatever they want to.
Yeah.
You can support them, be their biggest cheerleader,
Yeah.
be there for them. It's so important. Prachi is my best friend.
You are my best friend.
Yeah.
I think
Aw.
my only friend, but also my best friend.
Friend forever, BFFs. So yeah, like we have formed that bond where we are best friends for each other, and we are always there, and it's only possible because of all these other things, that we are honest with each other, we're communicating, we're growing with each other as individuals in our careers, we are challenging each other. In case we have limiting beliefs, we remind each other that why are you having this thought, and that same person can have the limiting belief the other day,
Yeah.
and the other person becomes the cheerleader, like why are you
This is
having
what
this?
we were speaking about yesterday, right? Like when I'm having an off day, he's there to like make sure that we're both like rising together, and when you're having an off day, I'm there to figure out things for us, and we balance each other. We're like yin and yang.
Exactly, and that's beautiful.
Yeah.
So I think that's how any and every relationship should be.
Yeah.
And yin and yang.
Yes.
Yes.
Balancing each other out.
Balancing each other out and respecting each other. Wow, that was beautiful.
Yeah.
I think we really
That's
went through
nice.
the evolution of our relationship.
I loved that. I loved going through and reflecting back at our relationship. It's been so nice.
Yeah.
I guess we got lucky. But then also, we didn't just take advantage of this relationship. We didn't
Take it for granted.
take it for granted. And it's only because we're pushing each other hard and we're growing together. I don't know.
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
awesome.
I totally agree with you, and it is amazing. I think on that note, let's wrap up the podcast.
Yes. That was it for this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed listening in on this conversation about us reflecting on our relationship.
And I'm so happy that we're doing this, being able to be completely candid over here.
Yeah.
And just honestly also reflect back on such good memories, such good times, things we learned in the past, and to see where we are right now.
Yeah, it's awesome. So thank you guys for tuning in, and we appreciate you listening to this podcast. We hope to see you in the next one.
Yes, we hope to see you in the next one. Have a lovely day, and thank you again.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Bye.